Starting. We're live.
Where's my YouTube at? All right. And we go dead end sports. Dead end sports. Sports that are dead end. Dead end sports. Oh, and we are live.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you say we're live.
Oh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for checking out another edition of Dead End Sports. This is the place where sports opinions collide. I'm your host, 12 Kyle. You are watching us now live on our YouTube stream. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like I said, youtube.com/Dead End Sports. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff in the news. Of course, the NFL Draft just completed. NBA playoffs are hot and heavy, as well as Major League Baseball is in full swing. So a lot of stuff to cover. To be honest, 2 hours is almost never enough time because we got a lot of stuff to hit. And, of course, we'll not be doing this show alone. Got the partners in crime in here. We got Ken in here. Ken, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? A lot. A lot in sports, just a lot right now. So excuse me, people that are watching. I had work called, and I have to do this quick update. So I'm still here. I'll still be commenting, but I'm just trying to knock this out real quick. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Just had an emergency situation come up where somebody actually ended up losing their life. So it's a sad situation. So we are just kind of dealing with that right now. But yeah, like Kyle said, man, a lot to talk about. And yeah, B's here somewhere, so he'll be there. He had to take a call too. Who knows? Maybe it was his job. So but we'll see. But yeah, we here, man. We here. We're ready to get to work.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Shout out. If you're watching, you can also jump into our chat room right there on the channel as well. Like I said, a lot to talk about. We had a controversial ending to a playoff game last night. Like I said, a bizarre event that happened at the NFL Draft. Major League Baseball saw suspended 80 games for PEDs. Crazy week. The Lakers named a head coach.
Forgot about that.
Man. Yeah, and I forgot to put that on the thing. We can touch on that as well. So a lot of stuff going on. And of course, if you're watching right now, at the time of this recording, the NBA playoffs are going on. The Heat and the Toronto Raptors are starting game one of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Atlanta Hawks, and they will be playing again on tomorrow night. So let's see here. I think B is still away. You ready to go ahead and get it cranking, Ken?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I can.
Okay. All right, man. Let's start right where it all went apart last night. 14 seconds left in the Oklahoma City Thunder versus San Antonio Spurs game. The game was in San Antonio. Oklahoma City was down 1-0 at the time. 0-1 at the time. You all saw it, so let's just talk about it. The final inbound play. Manu Ginobili steps across the line, and Dion Waiters, who was inbounding the ball, committed a violation by committing an offensive foul on Ginobili, and then he jumped to pass the ball, subsequently turned the ball over because the pass was too high to the tallest guy on the court, which is Kevin Durant. Subsequently, the Spurs got the ball on a 3-on-1 break, and could not convert. So I start right there, Ken. The NBA came out and said, okay, well, 5 violations happened on this particular play. Well, what's your take on all of the stuff that happened last night?
My take is this. Throughout the playoffs, typically every year, there's complaints and grumblings about officiating in the NBA, depending on what side you're rooting for.
Right.
But this season, this particular playoff, it's been absolutely horrendous. And And as a person who don't really have a dog in this race, I just want to see good basketball. Of course, I'm gonna pull for Wade and the Heat, but
of course,
at the end of the day, I just want to see good basketball. And the Heat Hornets series was officiated very badly, and to the point where they were calling out the officials, and people on Twitter that didn't care who won were criticizing the officials on both ends. And last night was a culmination of bad officiating at probably the worst time if you're a San Antonio Spur fan. For waiters to literally push
right.
he didn't just push him to the point where Ginobili appeared to flop. He leaned in and hit him with the elbow. So it was very obvious that he committed an offensive foul. The NBA came out and salute to Off the Bench. They actually tweeted this, and a lot of people, in typical fashion, wanted to try to make two wrongs a right or whatever. And they were like, oh, well, look, his foot was on the line. They didn't call that. Or he can't jump the pass. So they started to point out all of these different violations in the game. But it don't matter. The fact of the matter is the most obvious one was the fact that you could literally see this guy lean over and elbow Ginobili in the chest. The NBA, back to what I was saying, have said that jumping the pass was legal and that Ginobili's foot on the line was legal. So what are we left with? We're left with the elbow to the chest. All of the other fouls that were called, or not called, I should say, after that play took place, to me, are irrelevant. Because you can't miss a call like that. Kyle, you and I, we've been watching basketball for a long time. We know that at the end of the game, the players will get away with a lot of stuff. Like some of the fouls that they pointed out were missed. That's going to happen. We're accustomed to that. We're conditioned to accept that, and we try to kind of point that out to other people that are a little bit younger than us that are watching the game.
Right.
But when you have something as blatant as that, you can't miss it. And the fact of the matter is, the official didn't do his damn job. He's standing there looking right at the play, and that's what makes it so offensive, so egregious, so downright horrible that he did not call that play. That would have been given the ball. Now, here's the other argument, the other thing that people are pointing out. Well, the Spurs still got the ball, and it was still 3-on-2 or whatever.
3-on-1 break.
Matter. There's a big difference between having the call being called and the ball being awarded to the Spurs and Popovich being allowed to draw up a play to get a good, decent shot versus a team grabbing a ball on a scramble play and trying to make something out of nothing. That's where the lack of that call not being called as an offensive foul comes into play. You can't tell me. I don't care if they had a 3-on-1. I don't care if Patty Mills had a shot. I don't care if they got the damn ball. The fact of the matter is the official did not do his damn job. And it was obvious to the world. Anybody watching that play can clearly see that he pushed that guy. I don't give a damn if you've never seen it before. I don't give a damn if all the excuses that people come up with. I don't give a damn about any of that. Do your damn job. Call the play. That stuff matters. I don't care about, Ginobili coming out and saying, well, we didn't lose or win the game on that play. Like hell you didn't, because it affected the end result of the play simply because he didn't do his damn job, and he should have called it. We all know what happened prior to the game and how bad the Spurs played and this, that, and the other. All that stuff doesn't matter. Part of this game was that play and that none call. It matters. It did affect whether you could have won or lost the game because you had to try to make a shot in a chaotic moment when you didn't have to. And that's the difference. All this other stuff, this narrative, this framing, and I get tired of that shit, man. I get tired of when people say, well, you know, it's just like in the Detroit game, when there was an defensive pass interference call in that game, and it was like, well, you know, Detroit had all these other opportunities. No shit, Sherlock. But the fact of the matter is that play, if you miss a call in a game that you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to do your damn job, that stuff matters. That stuff impacts games. And that is a play in the game that impacts the outcome of a game. And it definitely does matter and count. Your referees have to do their job. They have been terrible this postseason. And Adam Silver has to do something to improve the officiating, because there are far too many casual fans that watch the playoffs who are sitting here watching this and be like, I don't want to watch this anymore, or thinking that the NBA is rigged according to whatever the referee. I can't remember the referee, Donahue, whatever.
Tim Donaghy.
When you have stuff like this that happens, the casual fan don't want to become a diehard fan. Well, I won't say don't want to become, but it impacts them because they think the NBA is rigged. Because something so obvious, it affects the integrity of the game or the way the game looks. So you can't have an NBA official swallowing the whistle because he's never seen a play like that before as an official. Come on, man. Do your damn job. And Silver needs – I don't care about these damn transparency reports either. Y'all can burn that shit up.
When they start doing that?
Right. It doesn't matter. Popovich said the best thing, man. He was like, it doesn't matter. The game is over. So you admitting that you got it wrong when everybody can clearly see that you got it wrong doesn't do a damn thing for anybody. And even if they would have called that play, nobody would have been upset because it was clearly a foul. It's not a judgment call. Everybody can see it. So if you would have called the call, people would have been looking at waiters. People would have been looking at Donovan for his inability to design a play, to get the ball in bounds. The second time that's happened, this time he's 50-50 on that because he could have lost that one,
right.
But he did lose the one at Golden State. So the transparency report is absolute BS. What are you going to do to improve the officiating in the NBA? I know Ryan off the bench said it has improved. It has not. We've been watching basketball. Kyle and I have been watching basketball for too long. It has not improved. It hasn't.
It's gotten to the point where it's really comical. I mean, the refs, I understand that they're there to do a job, and I understand that they have probably one of the hardest jobs to do. In basketball, you only have 3 refs. In football, I think you've got, 6 or 9 of them. I can't remember. But like Ken said, to come back and this report that they give after the game, oh, well, we blew a call, that doesn't matter. And it does not help the team that won, and it doesn't help the team that lost. Now, I know what you're saying. You're watching this and you're saying, well, San Antonio still had a 3-on-1 break. Yeah, they did have a 3-on-1 break, and they couldn't convert. No harm, no foul. But the problem is with that is that shouldn't have never taken place. The call should have been made right then and there. Yeah, granted, Ginobili was close. I'm not going to sit here and say that he wasn't close. And if the rule states that his foot was on the line and not across the line, then maybe you can, say that was part of the reason. But also, one thing you have to keep in mind is that the referee is standing right there beside them. So he may or may not see Ginobili's foot. That push, everybody saw. And you can't hide behind the fact that, oh, we've never seen it before. I mean, my thing is this, and I'm not – I like instant replay in NFL. I think, in the NBA – if they're going to slow the game down or pause the game to see if somebody made a flagrant foul just because the guy got clotheslined or something like that, then you ought to be able to take the time to review something like that. I know that you can't review a foul, but they should put something in place where that could be reviewed, because here's the thing. I could care less about you reviewing whether or not somebody got undercut or somebody got the head taken off for a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. What I do care about is stuff like this because it compromises the integrity of the game. And what happens is the most casual fan, like Ken said, the casual fans, they're not going to be interested in this because it comes back to the R word. And people have said it plenty of times. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the NBA is rigged, but I do know that Vegas plays a part in, these games. And I understand that Vegas plays a part in everything because there's gambling either side. I don't even know what the spread was last night. I don't care. The point is that you can't have a situation where this is, for fans, this is what we want. We want the games to be close. We don't want 40-point blowouts. We want close games, down to the wire, execution. But no, the ref shouldn't be a part of it. And I can understand swallowing your whistle, but the obvious you have to call. If somebody runs somebody over, you got to call either a charge or a block, one of the two. And that was just as blatant as it could be. And you can't tell San Antonio, well, hey, the reason why we didn't call is because we've never seen it before. That's BS to me. If I'm a Spurs fan or if I'm a Spurs player, and again, did that cost them the game? And I kind of get what Ginobili's saying is that one play didn't cost them the game. It pretty much did, because if they make that call, then you're on the free throw line shooting free throws as opposed to trying to convert a 3-on-1 break, throwing the ball to Patty Mills of all people. I don't know why you even throw the ball to Patty Mills. I'm not throwing. If I'm Ginobili, I'm not throwing nothing to Patty Mills. 3-on-1, I'm taking it to the cup. You got to foul me. Period. Point blank. But and that was very uncharacteristic of a Spurs team. But that being said, I think it was terrible, man. It's not a good look, and it does not look good for the NBA. And if it were just one game, we probably wouldn't say anything. But this has seemed like it's been the norm every game or every other game. Case in point, Sunday, Game 7 in Toronto. I mean, my man DeRozan just pushes the kid from Indiana out the way. Blatant as hell. Mm-hmm. And he's right under the rim. And I don't understand how there was no call. I mean, like, you got, and I think maybe it was Mohimi. Mohimi's got to be at least 6'10", 6'11". And he just comes flying out of the picture all of a sudden, and DeRozan gets the rebound. I mean, come on, man. We can't have this every game. And trust me, as these series go on further and further, especially maybe not definitely not in the Hawks Cavs series, but for the most part, these games are going to be close. Well, Hawks Cavs they may have a close game or two. Here's the thing: when you have close games, you want to see teams execute the last 5 minutes are the most important minutes of the game. And if you can't have teams executing and you can't have refs making the calls they needed to make, it doesn't look good, man. And as a fan, now I'm not a fan of either team, but if I was a fan of the San, I'd be pissed right now because that's a game that they lost, and it's a different series now. Going back to OKC 1-1, come on, man, it's up for grabs now. I mean, let's say OKC, and here's the thing, because this is only the second loss that the Spurs have had at home all season long. 2 losses at home all season. And this is the second one. So now you got a situation where they can't even play they got to go to, and OKC is a tough place to get a win. So they got to go to OKC and try to steal a game just to get it back to San Antonio, where they're pretty much unbeatable at home. But it was just terrible, man. I mean, awful. And people on social media and on Twitter and stuff saying, well, Ginobili shouldn't have been across the line. Man, I could understand if a ref didn't see his foot on the line or cross the line or however you want to call it. I can understand if a ref missed that. You can't miss that call. Waiters just straight 2-hand shove the man. I mean, what else you want him to do? I mean, what else constitute a foul in that situation? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But, it's playoff basketball, and this is where we are. And I think we're looking at a 7-game series.
Well, yeah,
and it could very well come back to that. Go ahead, Kim.
You know what? I think the other thing is I keep saying, I saw this a lot in the chat room and got it on Twitter, man. And people saying, yeah, but they missed 5 fouls on the Spurs. But if I'm not mistaken, and feel free to correct me, most of that was after the missed call.
Yeah, so, it was.
Yeah, they may have missed 5 fouls, and that's terrible. But the fact of the matter is, you just said it, Kyle. It shouldn't have even gotten to that point. It never should have gotten to the point where it's live action, where and we just highlighted this. This happens all the time. They swallow their whistle in late game situations. It's terrible, but they let the players play it out on the court. LaMarcus Aldridge being held by Ibaka, is terrible. Kawhi Leonard holding somebody is terrible. But the fact that none of that is worse than the non-call that allowed them to even get to that point to where they had to highlight the fact that they missed five fouls. Man, that was a series in against in the first round. Draymond Green is flat out body slamming people. He did it in the Celtics game in the regular season, and he did it against the Rockets.
And Draymond, well, maybe not so much as Draymond, but what's the big guy? Bogut. He set the moving screen almost every single time, and they never call it.
Yep, James Harden, offensive foul. On the play before that, Sean Livingston was holding somebody. So these type of things, man, they need to clean up. The other thing I don't like, Kyle, I don't like jumping. Stop all this jumping to get a foul crap, too, that Kevin Love did. That Kemba Walker blew so many shots because...
Yeah, that jumping in the guys. And, Love almost tore his arm out the socket last night doing that.
Shoot the damn ball. Clean that up, too, because it's impacting the game. Oh, my God. This is terrible, man.
Back from vacation, our boy Beezy 430. Beezy, what up, though?
What up? What up? What up? What up?
Happy.
Do I look darker? Do I look like the sun been frying my ass?
I don't know, man. They say you was on the beach, man. Passing out beat tapes.
Man, I was loving it, man. This was a much needed vacation, and I spent it with my godson for the first time. This was my first time spending my birthday with my godson, so that was
okay.
That was awesome. He stayed glued to my hip the whole time because he had no idea I was coming. He had no idea I was coming on a trip. So when I went to Glenn's room to surprise him, I was stuck with him pretty much the rest of the whole time. It was awesome though. We did the dune buggies, the speed racers. Man, it was so much fun, man. I got a lot of footage. I got like over 3 hours of footage on my GoPro. It's crazy.
Wow.
It was fun.
That's what's up right there. That's what's up. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back. As far as the controversial call last night, what's your take on it, man?
Yeah, you mean the Ginobili? I saw the highlights. Oh, y'all watching. I've been wiped out from sports for the past weekend. So from April 27th to now, I have not been watching any sports. I've been enjoying beaches, ocean, blue water, and all that other stuff. So I'm sorry, y'all, but I saw the highlights from that Spurs game where Deion Raiders gave him an elbow before he passed the rock, and I think we've been saying this for the longest, man. These refs. Something got to give. We understand that they're human. We understand they're human at the end of the day. But, like, calls like that, blatant elbow, and I think they said something Ginobili had stepped over the line or he did something to where...
They said that was legal, B.
They said it was legal?
Yeah.
Who?
For him to step over the line?
Who said that?
Well, they said his foot was on the line, and that was legal.
Ginobili was legal or Deion Waiters was legal?
Ginobili. They said
no, Ginobili.
Over the line. His toe was on the line.
His toe was on. Okay.
And jumping to pass was legal too because he didn't step back or he didn't go side to side something.
Oh,
but
okay.
In the report, they said, and shout out to Off the Bench because they sent this over to me on Twitter, NBA podcast on Dennis Sports. You guys make sure you follow them on Twitter and check them out. But they sent the information to me, so that is official. Those plays are legal.
Oh yeah, it was. Hey, look, it was a terrible blown call that on the referee's part, man. And you can tell, you can hear the frustration in Chris Webber's voice too.
He was
like
pissed.
After that happened, you thought Chris Webber was a part of the team because he was.
right.
I'm like, dang, right. Webber, you commentating, calm down. Don't let the Detroit come out in you, man. Just calm down. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was awful. I mean, that didn't decide the fact that they was gonna win or lose, because OKC, they definitely came to play after being embarrassed in game one. That I think OKC just came and got the game and they won it. That call did not determine if the game was 1-1 or lost. But yeah, it was still terrible. Like refs got to get together, man. It's funny because it seems like these past like about 3 or 4 years, especially during playoff times, we really been complaining about referees. Not even in the NBA, but in the NFL as well. Like we really been complaining about referees and their horrible decision making and making these calls. It's like, what is going on, man? For these last 3 or 4 years, us fans and coaches and whoever really been complaining about these refs. They got to do something because this is crazy.
Yeah, man, it is. It truly is because, like I mentioned earlier, the stakes are going to get higher. So, we're moving closer and closer to the finals, and the last thing you want to do is have a game cost the team, and it's just not a good look for the NBA, man. We got to get the opinions of the fourth homie of the crew, my man Feefo, celebrating his birthday too. Happy belated, homie. What's going on, man?
Thank you, man. Thank you. Crazy fucking day at work. Bruh, I just can't wait till the day that everything just takes over the world and I don't have to work for
Hey, no doubt. What's your take on what happened last night, man?
B hit it right on the head. That one play, even though it was a debacle at the end, that didn't determine the game at all. That did not determine the game. It was a lot of San Antonio. What happened was OKC came out with a big punch, and San Antonio had to withstand those other runs. And obviously they came back into the game, made it a game. OKC has lost the most leads going into the fourth quarter, so it just based off of that, you kind of expected the end to be kind of tight. But I enjoyed the game. I thought it was. I've never seen an ending like that. I don't think I've ever seen somebody inbounding the ball hit somebody physically that was still in bounds. I've never seen that. And then
you've never seen that in a pickup game before, either, have you?
Nah, I've never seen that. But what's interesting last night when I was watching what's the show that Charles and them is on Inside the NBA?
TNT. Yeah, Inside the NBA.
Yeah, they had a camera angle of the ref that is kind of the opposite because the main camera angle that we see is from the back with the ref having the back to us. But they had the other camera angle where you could see his face. And when he was counting, I swear, go look at it if you could get this camera angle. As soon as Dion puts that forearm out, he looks down to his feet. I swear to you. He looks down. So he kind of missed it. Honestly, I think he kind of missed it. But at the same time, what do you call there if you've never seen it? And you're like,
right.
I think you just leave it up to the players to decide. And realistically, San Antonio damn near came away with that win. So I think it would be interesting to hear what OKC's narrative would have been if they would have lost that game. Okay, so Kyle.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think, and that is a very good point. So if I'm a flip it on you, Feefo. If OKC had done this and wilted this game away, and not as opposed to San Antonio, what would we be saying?
Exactly. I don't know what the hell what we would do. And I don't know how what argument would OKC have for that? Like, your guy touched the guy that was in bounds when he was clearly taking out the rock. So I don't know. I don't know what the narrative would be. I know one thing. Pop would have answered everything exactly the same. That's the one.
Yeah.
I know that. But at the end of the day, good game, good series. I don't know if we picked or y'all picked who y'all think was gonna win. But
I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
Okay.
I said Spurs in 6.
I said Spurs in 7.
So
you said you got OKC, Feefo?
Yeah, OKC in 7.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's what's up. I don't think, and Ken just dropped off for a second. I don't think. I'm pretty sure we haven't done our picks yet, but I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an incredible series. I think it's definitely going 7. Let's move on to the other series in the Western Conference. Obviously, and that game 2 is tonight. with the Golden State Warriors going up against these Portland Trail Blazers. Obviously, we know that Steph Curry is sitting out. They say that he can come back. Well, the timeline basically was for him to come back as early as this coming Saturday, which would be Game 3. Based on what you saw on the other day, B, do you think that Steph Curry should play in this series at all?
Nope. I think the real series is gonna be that Western Conference Finals, man. If you can, if you know, I don't think it's gonna be a close series, but you know, if you can knock them out in 5 games, Portland in 5 games, I think yes, you can definitely let Stephen Curry rest up and be ready for supposedly a OKC or a San Antonio Spurs series, which that's going to pretty much, from the looks of it, almost going to determine who's going to win championship, because a lot of people are saying that the champ's going to come out the West. Whoever comes out that West Conference Finals win championship. But, so yeah, I think, yeah, Stephen Curry definitely needs to sit this whole series out. I know he's competitive. You know, Feefo, Ken, Rod, anybody will tell you, you know, if we can play, we'll play. And I'm pretty sure Stephen Curry is the same way. But still, you gotta look at the big picture, man. The more important picture.
What about you, Ken? If you're Steve Kerr, would you allow Steph Curry to, let's say he's, I don't know, 80% on Saturday, would you let him come back, or would you sit him the entire series?
I'll take Ken's spot. For me,
yeah, go ahead, Feefo. I thought he was back.
For me, it's until they lose.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely think they can handle Portland. The one team that everybody wrote off.
Quick question for
them to even be here. What's up?
So like you said, what if Golden State go up 3-0 and then lose the Game 4? You'll put Stephen Curry in?
No, but it also depends on how they lost. You know what I'm saying? Like they got blown out. Like Portland blew them out. Oh yeah, I'm bringing Steph. We got to end it now.
So what if they blow out Portland in Game 2 and 3, blow them out by 30? Game 4, Golden State take a little night off and lose by 20.
Okay.
Would you put Stephen Curry in?
It's still a field. So it's like if you feel that Portland really took it to you, and it seems like, oh man, it might roll, like the emotion, all of that energy might roll to the second game, then yeah, I'm playing Steph. But if it's kind of like y'all got lucky, I'm not gonna play Steph.
Okay.
So really, you know what, B, to answer your question, I would in that same scenario, B, I'd sit Curry, because if you think about it, if Golden State won by 20 or let's say 30 in Game 2 and Game 3, and then they lost Game 4, Game 5 they would be playing at Oracle. I like my chances to win at home without Steph.
Right. Go ahead, Feefo.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think I think that's still a good series. I think Golden State's going to win that series in 4 or 5, but I think that's still a good series. I think Portland, you got to give Portland props just to even be in here.
To be honest with you, I would have gave that coach. What's his name?
Oh hell yeah, Terry Stotts.
Yeah, I would have gave Stotts Coach of the Year. I would have gave him Coach of the Year. I'm sorry, Golden State fans.
But,
I would have gave.
Break the record, bro. You go 73-9, dog. Like you gotta get.
But like me and you talking about
people. Kerr wasn't there the whole time though.
Who had But Feefo, me and you talked about this. Who had Portland even making the playoffs? Like
I feel you,
man. Like none of us.
We all. I think a lot of people that watch NBA written off Portland after they started in 5.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. If we can do Cole MVP, we can do Cole rookies. We can do all of these Coles. It should have been Cole Coach of the Year.
Dog, because he deserved it, man. He deserved that. He deserved that nod, man. Because in the West, too, people? Like,
yeah.
Dang.
I mean, when you look at what they lost, 3 or 5 starters?
4. They lost 4 starters.
Oh, my bad. 4
everybody
starters.
but Dame.
So, everybody but Dame.
Yeah, Dame
except for Dame left.
Dame and everybody else. And
you
keep in mind
in the West in a tough Western Conference. So
keep in mind this team started off 11-20.
Yeah,
they were 11-20. So people were like, okay, well, hey, and after the All-Star break, I think they were like 30. They had like 33 wins. So they were like one of the best teams post All-Star break in the entire NBA. So you got to tip your hats off to what Terry Stotts did, especially like you said in the West. This didn't happen in the East.
Nope.
Yeah, this didn't happen in the East, so I definitely have to give props.
I think
Ken, did you want to weigh in on the last topic we just had? Steph Curry, whether or not you sit Steph Curry or not?
Yeah, he doesn't need to play unless that series end up tied 2-2 miraculously somehow. But nah, he doesn't need to play, man. I don't know what's up with Lillard. Lillard can't hit a shot. He couldn't hit a shot against the Clippers. They barely beat the Clippers without Griffin and Chris Paul. So they could barely beat them. The Warriors shouldn't have any problem with them. No disrespect. But the only person that can beat them, Lillard literally has to put on his best version of LeBron James in the sense that he's going to have to carry that team and hope for some help somewhere somehow. Or Dwayne Wade 2006. He's going to need that type of series to pull this out.
Speaking of which, great segue, my man Kenneth. Miami Heat, man, they're going up against the Raptors as we're currently recording. But how do you see this series playing out, Ken? This looks like a nice little matchup between the two teams.
Miami should take it, man. I think it could be looked at like this. Toronto may be happy about getting out of the first round and just be content with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they just happy to get that monkey off their back.
Ken,
you don't think
they're not content. Them motherfuckers are scared as shit. They are scared of the damn playoffs. They are scared of being here. They're scared of being out of the first round. They're scared of losing in the first round. They're scared of the playoffs, man.
Well, we know who Feefo picking. Look, man, Kyle Lowry, he has 2 points, 3 assists, something like that. Another terrible game, shaping up to be another terrible series. DeMar Rosen can't hit anything, and people talking about him going to L.A. What the hell are you going to do in L.A. if you can't succeed in the playoffs? They don't need you in the regular season.
I think they say that just because he's from L.A. That's the only reason.
They may get him.
But here's the thing, though, Ken. I think the difference between, especially in the last 2 games, and I just started watching this Heat-Toronto game now, but in the last 2 games, I think it's interesting the mentality of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Because it's one thing to struggle, but to still play at a level because you know the responsibilities that your team has on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you are an all-star on a squad, it is on you to do what you do best to help that team win. DeMar in the last game, in Game 7, he shot 30 shots. He shot 30%, but he shot 30 shots. What was Kobe's mentality when he talked about Darren Williams a couple years ago? I don't care if I miss 50 shots. I'm going to keep shooting because that's what DeMar is supposed to do. So, to me, it's not a mental thing with DeMar. It's just, he's forcing the issue, and it happens. Human, I get it. Kyle Lowry, on the other hand, this man is playing himself into a veteran's minimum contract because it does not matter how.
Damn, he said the minimum.
Veteran's minimum, bro. Because who is going to want him when you cannot perform when we need you to perform? You see what I'm saying? Because with Kyle Lowry, it's mental. He's scared. He does not want to take a shot. He's extremely passive. He does not have confidence in his game, bro. I don't think I've ever seen somebody at an all-star caliber level get in the playoffs and just disappear like this. Just lose all confidence. Like, he don't want to be there. He wants to play basketball for 82 games, collect his paycheck, and that's his championship. I do not understand what I see from this man. I don't understand that switch that just happens. Oh, playoffs? Oh, I'm out of here. I'm checked out. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's real baffling because everybody pumped up Toronto like they've done something. And I was like, nah, they have to prove it. And yeah, you know what? You were the benefit of a no call against Indiana when we almost threw that. And if George would have taken a shot or shoot, he's something other than try to throw an alley-oop to Miani or whatever his damn name is.
Hey, but he didn't anticipate him getting pushed out the way though.
You can't afford that in that situation. But either way it go, you're right. He was fouled clearly, but it was a risky play. But nevertheless, I think you're right, Feefo, and I think it's interesting is that I said the same thing about Dragic in Game 7. Off the bench, Ryan disagreed with me, but Dragic was very tentative in that series, and Kemba Walker had been cooking him the whole series. He was with him. And something happened in Game 6. No, it was Game 6.
Game 6 and a half.
Yeah, something happened in Game 6. He came out, he had a different mentality. He was aggressive. He took the fight to Kemba Walker like he had a mindset shift. But prior to then, he didn't look. It was much like what you said about Lowry. He looked like he didn't want to be there. And to me, looking at it, it was like it's Game 6. It's win or go home. You've never been in that situation before, so you don't want to make a mistake. And the collapse of Toronto in Game 7 that allowed Indiana back in the game was kind of the same thing. Now, props to Dragic for getting his shit together because now he's taking the fight to Toronto, and now he's ready. And whatever, he put a number on Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker disappeared in Game 7. He just had a bad game. But the fact of the matter is, in this particular series, if Dragic continues to stay aggressive, Lowry continues to play the way he plays, and not only that, all of the veterans that this team have, Joe Johnson, Luol Deng, of course, Dwayne Wade's there, Haslam, Spo. Like, this team is loaded. Yeah, they got 2 rookies and Rick, but they got Winslow, who's won a championship, who's used to playing on a high level, who's used to playing in games that matter where it's all on the line and you make a mistake, any critical play, you're going home. So he's not used to the NBA, but he's used to being in situations like that. So I got Miami winning this game, man, and they go ahead and take this one. This might be over in 5.
It might be over in 4, Ken. It might be over in 4, man.
The only reason why I'm cautious to say 5 because Miami has a tendency to go on these streaks. Where they score, and I think Toronto may eke out 2 games because of that.
And I feel that, but I also see where Lowry and DeRozan still struggle. D Wade by himself can still win you a game or 2.
Right.
The way Dragic is balling, he's back to Phoenix All-Star snub Dragic. Hassan Whiteside is arguably the best big man in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, like Miami is a problem, and Toronto is not doing anything to make you think otherwise. And that's the thing.
Right.
Again, I just started watching this game, and Ken's 100% right. The little bit that I've seen, Dragic is taking it to everybody. He's taking it to everybody. And going back further to what Ken said, it was something in Game 6 in that second half that Dragic, he just flipped the switch. It translated to Game 7, and we're seeing it in Game 1 now. So I think Dragic is fine. He got D Wade in the backcourt talking to him, saying, "Yo, I need you to do this, and I will take us home." They got the squad, and look, man, I was high on Toronto. I really thought that they can make some noise this year, push a Cleveland team to 7 games, bruh. I don't understand. If I'm the GM, if I'm I can't even say his name. I know his name. I can't say it though. Yeah, I don't portray it that way. But if I was the GM of the Toronto Raptors, I'm fire selling everything, bro. I'm getting what do you want for Kyle Lowry, nigga? I'll take a second round pick. Bruh, I am selling everything because it's not because of the coach. It's not because of anything else but this player not being able to perform. Gotta get rid of him.
No doubt. Before we move on to the Hawks-Cavs series, let's stay right there with the Heat, man. Got a quick question. As many of you know, Chris Bosh has been out since right before the All-Star break with blood clot issues. Now, Bosh has admitted and come forward and said that, hey, he's ready to play. He's feeling healthy. He's not feeling any of the ill effects from the blood clots and the procedures that he had done. And he wants to play. In fact, Bosh and his wife have taken to social media, Twitter, with this campaign called Bring Bosh Back. Even had a little hashtag and everything. Conversely, the Miami Heat do not want Chris Bosh to play. Currently, they are paying Chris Bosh to sit on the bench, which is very peculiar because the Miami Heat fear that Chris Bosh may die on the basketball court, folks. So therein lies the problem. Chris Bosh is saying, hey, I'm ready to play. I feel like I can play. I feel like I can contribute. You guys need me. And the Heat are worried about him dying. So we got a little problem here. Not really sure medically what the stance is, but from what I can gather, Chris Bosh's team is pretty much saying, well, hey, whatever issues he has now, they're going to be the same issues that he'll have next year, and so forth and so on. B, I'll ask you, man. If you're Chris Bosh, if you're the Miami Heat, do you play Chris Bosh?
No, I mean, because that's like a life-threatening issue that he's going through right now, right?
Right.
The blood clot stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Well, he's not having those issues anymore. But the thing is, from what I understand, it was that if he got on blood thinners, then he'd probably have to stop playing.
Oh man, yeah, that's a tough decision, man, because we talking about somebody's life here, you know what I mean? So
right.
I don't know if I would want to play. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because if he really wants to play, and if like the doctors or whatever clear him to play ball, then I say why not. But will it mess up the flow of the team? It's like the team is playing. Sometimes just because he hasn't been playing or the team's been playing really well, sometimes he might come back and they might kind of be out of whack a little bit. You never know. But Chris Bosh been playing with Wade for what 6 years, 4 or 5 years now, 5, 6 years now. So
yeah.
So I don't think he shouldn't be that much of a funk. I don't know, man. And then he has to like get back and kind of. I'm pretty sure he's kind of possibly out of basketball shape too. He might not be in the best. If me and Feefo will tell you, he might not be in the best like rhythm and basketball shape right now. But you're a professional. You get paid millions to do it. But man, your body be like, what the hell are we doing here? So I don't know, man. He probably was training for these past couple of weeks or months or whatever how long, and he's probably ready to get back out there and play. But I don't know if I'm Miami. I don't know if I want to take that chance. I don't know.
No doubt. What about you, Feefo? If you're the Miami Heat, man, you got a player right here. You can use him in this series. If you're able to advance, you're definitely going to need him against the Cavs. He wants to play. What says you?
Nah, man, you're not playing.
Yeah,
the reason
man.
being it's simple for me. As a business, as an organization, I can't have nobody dying on my watch. That's not going to happen. And if there's a 2% chance of you coming out here and dying, and we know about that, you're not playing. You're not playing until we are 100% certain that you are not going to die because of whatever illness you may have. That's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Now, the thing is, I'm not blaming Bosh because what is he supposed to do, right? Like, because we give flack to players that's like, well, like D Rose, I'm gonna take my time and come back when I'm ready. So you can't have it both ways, man. With Bosh, that's what he's supposed to say. He's supposed to say, I want to come out here and play, and you whoop-de-woo, and that's all good. But we, as the Miami Heat organization, there's no way you're playing, bro. Sorry. And when you're on blood thinners, the reason why they think that you can die when you're on blood thinners is because if you get a simple cut, your blood's not gonna clot. You can bleed out from a simple cut when you're on blood thinners. So it's not a good look. If you play basketball, you get cut, chipped, people hacking at the ball, your wrists, your hands always get sliced up. So it's not worth the risk. It's really not. Even if it would guarantee me a championship, it's not worth the risk. It's just not.
Okay, that's a good point, especially about the effects as far as getting cut. Ken, you are a big fan of Olajuwon. Someone mentioned in the chat room that Olajuwon was on blood thinners when he was playing. What's your take on that, man? And do you remember Olajuwon? But I don't think Olajuwon didn't have blood. He didn't have blood clots in his lungs. I do remember that. I remember him having some type of medical ailment. What's your take on that?
No, I do not recall him being on blood thinners. It's good that there's precedent for it. He can use that to make a case for himself. But I go back to what B said, and that is the Heat are playing in a rhythm. They've revamped their whole system around him not being there. And you don't really want to mess up that flow now. Now, he could be an asset for you at times because, like I mentioned before, they fall in love with the three, and sometimes they struggle to get those shots underneath the basket. And he could, post up a little bit and give you some buckets there. But outside of that, man, I don't think it's worth his life. I think that's more important. So, I think they're making the right call. And I understand you don't know. I understand Bosh's position. You don't know if you'll ever get a chance to get to this point again, especially after what happened last year, and wanting to be knowing that if he could have played, they probably would have made the playoffs maybe. But nah, man, I think it's better to urge on the side of caution because we all remember. I know Kyle, you remember, and B, you may remember.
Oh yeah.
Reggie Lewis.
I knew you were about to say Reggie Lewis.
Reggie Lewis, Hank Gathers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was the most frightening thing I've ever seen before in my life because you never imagined something like that happening.
Exactly.
So we don't. I never want to see that again in my life. And so yeah, I'd rather him sit, man, and get his stuff together and come back next year. Because I'll never forget that.
Oh, yeah, man, no question. I remember when Hank Gathers passed, prior to him passing, he had collapsed on the court, and, he told him he was dizzy or something like that, and he kept playing or whatever. And then, I don't know, I can't remember if it was the same game or the next game or something like that. I mean, they had scored a basket, he was going back down the court, and he was jogging, and he just dropped. And the cameras was on him. So it was, like Ken said, it was scary because I was like, I might have been 10 maybe. I can't remember how old I was, but as a basketball fan, that's scary because you knew you just watched somebody die playing the game that they love. And it was scary because at the time, Hank Gathers was the best player in the country. So for you young people watching, you never heard of Hank Gathers, just imagining, and I'm not comparing his talents, but someone as hyped and as heralded as Ben Simmons was this year, just dropping dead on the court, and nobody knew why. So, as far as this Bosh situation, if the team, you're going to get paid regardless because NBA contracts are guaranteed. I know money's not an issue for Chris Bosh at this point in his career. I'm pretty sure he's well set for life. He wants to be out there and play, and, he's played probably since he was, 7 or 8 years old. It's not worth your life. It's just, I can't. I'm pretty sure Chris Bosh, I know he's married. I think he's got a couple of kids. You have to consider them as well. So you just have to, if, like B said, if you got to come back next year, see what happens next year. And I understand. Because here's the thing that people that is really lost on people is the fact that this Miami Heat team is good. And this Miami Heat team has the capability. They're 2 years removed from LeBron leaving them high and dry. And they could be in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. That's saying a lot. And then here's the thing that people also don't understand is that not only have they gotten better, but they've also gotten younger. They found Whiteside. They got this, what's the Richardson kid, and then they got a guy like Winslow. And then you got your veteran leader like D. Wade. So they've got a good mix of veteran leadership. Dragic is relatively young. So, Deng has played extremely well, late down the stretch and in the playoffs. So, Miami, they can be in the mix, for the next year or two. And even with D Wade on the downside. And I forgot they picked up Joe Johnson too, coming down the stretch. So, this team could, and I don't think they could beat Cleveland, but I mean, if they could lose LeBron and then be in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years later, that's saying a lot, and that's a tribute to what Pat Riley's done. I think Bosh should probably sit this out. He should just sit this out, chill, and don't say anything, because at this point, talking about it and becoming a disturbance or distraction is not going to help him get on the court. It's just not. So,
and that's not the Pat Riley way either.
No, exactly. You're right. Yeah, you're not going to bully Pat Riley into doing anything. That's not going to happen. Before we move on to the NFL, let's jump back to the NBA. The other series we haven't talked about, not Miami, Cleveland Cavaliers versus the hometown Atlanta Hawks. Not B. Let me throw this to Ken. Ken, did you see anything last night that could give you any encouragement about what the Hawks could possibly do against the Cavs? You like the way I phrased that question.
I was looking for it. I honestly was. I saw that they were, losing by 10 at halftime, and the run that the Hawks made was a great run, but it came off of 3 or 4 threes from a guy that don't typically shoot threes, and that's not sustainable. Nah, man, I didn't really see anything that would lead me to think the Hawks have a chance to get more than 2 games, more than maybe 1. I hate it, man. But it's just they need that guy, and they don't really have that guy. Jeff Teague doesn't look like the guy he once was, from last year. Millsap, I don't know, man. They just need a guy, man, and they don't have a guy. The system isn't working, and it's easy to do that against the Celtics because the Celtics don't have a guy either.
Right.
So they're pretty much, it comes down to system coaching and defense and a couple of breaks here or there with injuries. Even though I think if the Celtics were healthy, they still would have lost the series but I didn't see it, man. When they needed shots, they couldn't get it. They had a chance to put the Cavs not away, but put a lot of pressure on the Cavs. And I think that they probably would have folded, after giving up such a big run like that. I think it would have mentally it probably affected them a little bit, but they didn't. They missed 3 shots, and then it went ice cold, and then it was over. It was crap after that. So don't wait for a cold night. Wait for the bench to do nothing, which it's gonna come, but then you got to survive LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love, who had off night last night. So, go Hawks.
No doubt. What about you, B? Did you see anything that encouraged you or some signs of life from the Atlanta Hawks?
Nope. I think it's gonna be just like last year. They swept Atlanta last year? Atlanta might get one game. They might sneak one, but I see it possibly being another sweep, just like last year, man. Brian got both of his sidekicks with him this time, so I don't know. I don't see. There's no hope for ATL. Sorry, ATL Hawks fans, but yeah, it's just no hope. LeBron James is gonna get y'all again in this series and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think a lot of the games gonna be hard fought though. I don't think they're gonna all be like just blowouts. But I think Atlanta's gonna put up. I mean, look at the fight they put up yesterday. They came back from being down 24. So
yeah, exactly.
So I think it's gonna be like hard fought games like that. But in the end, sweep or 5 games.
Feefo, I'm the only Hawks fan on here, man. Give me something, man. Give me something. Give me some good news, Feefo. Tell me something good. You see B and Ken just peeing on my parade here. Give me something. Give me something I could take with me to the game tomorrow.
But you know the sports motto I live by, though, right?
I mean, I know you don't trust Joe. I know you don't trust the Atlanta team.
Nah. Get it right, Kyle. The states of Georgia.
Oh yeah,
Not the
yeah.
city
State
of
Georgia. Yeah.
The state of
You don't trust no teams in Georgia.
No teams in Georgia. Now, here's the thing. I disagree with Ken with this one thing that he said. Boston has a guy. He's just too damn small.
Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah.
Yes, he's a guy. He's
Beast.
a guy. But like I've always said, whenever you have a diminutive guy, you need somebody that can physically impact the game. And the thing is, he can impact the game, but he can't do it physically because you saw how Millsap and Horford ate his ass up all the times he attacked, or the majority of the times that he attacked. So that's why you can't just have a little man like that and think you're going to win something. You need to be able to have another guy, a la Blake Griffin with CP, that can physically dominate a game. But let me digress back into this Cleveland-Atlanta series. Hawks ain't going to do nothing, man. Them boys ain't going to do nothing. Like B said, man, it's going to be a sweep or it's going to be 5 games. And to agree with what Ken said, and something I've always been preaching, they don't have a guy that will go get you 42.
Yep.
They don't have that. They don't have a guy that is looking to score every single game. The Atlanta Hawks pay me to go get 25 a game. They don't have that guy. And until they get that guy, they will not be able to beat the upper echelon teams. They're going to be in a perpetual state of mediocrity, getting to the first and second round, and that's it. Maybe the conference finals. That's it. No champion. Yep. They're not contenders. They are not.
They'll be good, just not good enough.
They're not good enough. And what you see is just a disparity in talent. Because when you're looking at coaching, I think Budenholzer is a better coach than Ty Lue because he just had more time to prove it. We know he comes from a proven system. The Hawks have a proven system. They win, but why can't they get over the hump? They don't have the talent. And until Budenholzer, now that he's also the GM and president of basketball operations, until he can figure out what the Hawks are going to do to go get that guy, they're going to be stuck where they are. Now, are they better than the Joe Johnson Hawks? Of course, way better, more competitive. But in all honesty, they're almost the same team because they're not moving past the second round consistently. They're just not. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they fix or who they go for, what the plan is. But until they do that, man, they are not going to get out the East, man. They're not going to be true championship contenders.
Yeah, I agree totally. And you guys know I'm a diehard fan. I think this team is, they're good, not great. That's just where they are. And like people said, you got to have a guy. You got to have an athletic big or a wing or somebody that can just say, you know what, tonight I got you. 40 points, 30 points, whatever, I got you. Like that type. And they have a bunch of complimentary guys. So free agency, that's what it's going to be. But this series will be over in 5. I think the Hawks will win 1 at home. Cleveland will close them out on the road. To be honest, if you're a Hawks fan like myself, based on what you have, I guess you got to be satisfied with that. I mean, realistically, you're not beating the Cavs unless, LeBron, gets arrested or something like that for sniffing cocaine. Even with that, you still might not beat the Cavs. So, I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's move on to the NFL, man.
Wait, before you move on.
Go ahead.
You picked the Hawks last year to win, to beat the Cavs?
No. I said the Cavs.
No. I said last year. Last year playoffs. You picked the Hawks, didn't you?
No, I picked the Cavs. I ain't crazy.
Whoa.
Hey, I love my team, but I'm realistic now. No, I didn't pick the. Huh?
Bring back the tape. I could have swore you picked the Hawks in 7.
Yeah, we can bring the tape out. I didn't. No, I ain't crazy.
Okay. Kyle Lowry messing up again. Damn.
Yeah, Lowry don't want it, man.
DeRozan had it going, man.
Lowry don't want it.
He about to take game.
Let's move it on to the NFL. NFL draft was this past Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, to be exact, and had a little controversy. Actually, reality TV at its worst. As you all know, the offensive tackle from Ole Miss, Laramie Tunsel, was projected to be a bona fide top 3, top 5 pick at the worst. So a little something happens to Mr. Tunsel. Someone apparently 5 minutes before the draft started hacked his Twitter account, and they posted a video of Tunsel smoking a bong, smoking weed, smoking reefer, joints, whatever you want to call it. Posted it to his Twitter account while he's live at the ceremony in Chicago to be drafted. So he's about to get drafted, and somebody posts a video of him smoking weed to his Twitter account and for everybody to see. So he's scrambling, trying to delete it, trying to figure out where it's coming from. And then about 20 minutes later, someone posts a couple of text messages between him and a coach, or one of his former coaches at Ole Miss, where he subsequently asked the coach for money, and the coach said he told the coach he needed $300 for his mom's water and lights or something like that. And the coach basically said, okay, well, hey, just, holler at me later, whatever. Ken, what was your take on that bizarre occurrence that happened at the NFL draft?
Social media, baby. Because whoever pulled that off, I would imagine we're going to see more of it. Or we're going to see more policing of social media accounts by college institutions, because they probably don't want stuff like that to occur. Look, the guy was young. He still is young. Stuff like that happens. It says something about his decision making, because I think at this point we all know that we have to be a little bit careful. Depending on what you're doing or what you want to do in life, you have to be careful in what you put on social media, because it's used against you if you post some crazy stuff. And for the kids growing up, college athletes, all of them have to really take this and use it as a lesson. Now, reading up on this guy has a history of making bad decisions, and sometimes that comes with certain players that have a certain level of skill. Tunsel appears to be one of them, but hopefully the Dolphins organization will be able to get him steered in the right direction. Hopefully he learned from this. He went from being a third-round selection possibly, because after the trades, before the trades he was a first-round pick. After the trades, third, to 13, and it could have been worse. Now, on one hand, you can look at it and say, well, his immature behavior 2 years ago didn't hurt him that much, and here's a guy that managed to get away with it based on his talent level. On the other hand, you could look at him looking at this and saying, man, I cost myself a lot more money, because if I would have been drafted higher, obviously, it's based on your selection. But it's going to be something that people are going to watch. He's going to be heavily scrutinized, and people are going to be looking for something. And about Randy Gregory, what happened with him, and how people thought he turned around, and then he ultimately ended up getting suspended. So we look at Josh Gordon, who continues to make mistakes. But with this guy, I don't know if we've seen, outside of the other choices he made, I don't know if he has a history of doing that. So we'll see. But I think I urge everyone, especially college athletes, they need to, if you can, go scrub your social media accounts, man, and clean that stuff up, because you don't want this happening to you, because there's going to be somebody looking to get paid off your payday.
No doubt. No doubt. What about you people, man? What did you think when you saw the video, man?
Man, a lot of times, especially with these athletes that become pro, you're coming from situations that aren't, the most ideal. There's a lot of people along the way, especially if you're in the inner city, that helped you along that way to get you to that point. So I understand it's difficult to, trim down the entourage and stuff like that. And with that entourage comes people that may feel hurt, that may feel what's the word I'm searching for? Where they deserve what you are getting because you helped them. No, you don't deserve it. You didn't put in the same type of work. And I think it's unfortunate that somebody really wanted to hurt him like that. You know, because this was calculated. This was something that was done intentionally. It wasn't done by mistake. You know, somebody did this to hurt him. And he needs to figure out who that is and handle the situation accordingly. Because here's the thing, man. Is the bad judgment in this case smoking weed? Right? Are we going to be that naive to think that he is or one of the very few people that smoke weed in the NFL or any major sport? Come on, let's not be naive. Now, when doing that act can cause you millions upon millions of dollars, obviously you shouldn't condone that. Obviously you should stay away from it. But that act isn't the worst thing in the world. And for somebody to just put that out there, like literally as it's happening, real time, to put that out there, he has to find out who that is. He needs to police and monitor and change his passwords to all of his social media, the same way the jobs make us change our passwords and stuff. He needs to do something like that. But I don't think that situation was bad. I think the precedence of what it can set going into the future is bad. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys always talking about, I was hacked, I was this, I was that. I am 100% certain he wasn't in that war room freaking tweeting that stuff out. He was not doing that. He really got hacked. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but all of these athletes coming up, y'all need to lock y'all stuff down, man. Because that's a bad look. And I think it was reported he lost between 10 to 12 million for his 10 positions in his draft slide. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even that far. It's not like the man went, from first round to fourth round draft pick. He went from top 3, top 5 to number 13. And it cost him 10 to 12 million dollars, man. That is big. That's a lot, man. So, I feel bad for him in that regard. I feel with Ken and, the whole old man daddy mentality. He got to do better. He got to make better decisions overall because you're a professional athlete. But, he'll be fine. You just got to make it up. Play a little bit harder, get a bigger contract next time.
I have no idea what's going on. What video are you talking about, Kyle?
The picture.
I've been locked out from the sports world these past few days, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, Tunsel was the offensive lineman from Ole Miss. His Twitter account got hacked while he was at the draft, like 5 minutes before the draft starts, and somebody posts a video of him smoking. Now, apparently, this video was old. It wasn't like something that was here recent, and they've been trying to blackmail him. Now, there's a caveat to the story. Tunsel and his stepfather have beef. And what I mean by beef is that his stepfather just sued him about 2 weeks ago. And this comes on the heels of a fist fight that he got into last fall when Tunsel alleged that his that stepfather hit his mother. So Tunsel put them hands on him. So these are two grown men, just imagine the dynamic, and keep in mind, Tunsel's he's not a small guy. He's like 6'8", 300 pounds. So you got his new stepdaddy. He allegedly put his hands on your mom's, and, you whip his ass. He calls the cops. He subsequently told the NCAA on Tunsel, and he had to miss 7 games of Ole Miss's season last year. He missed 7 games, guys, and he still was projected to go no lower than 3 in the NFL draft. So, like Feefo said, he cost himself about $10 million. I guess the word to the wise is don't record yourself doing stuff. And I know that's pretty popular in this day and age, But don't record yourself doing stuff. Don't record nobody doing nothing.
They gonna
you incriminate yourself.
These young guys gonna still record each other. They gonna record each other, but because they mentality call, they thinking, oh, it won't happen to me. It won't happen to me. Like,
hey, but let's not let the bitch made stepdaddy off the hook either.
Right.
First and foremost,
no. I'm not. Yeah.
Oh, because first and foremost, you should not be putting no hands on no woman. And then second of all, you should not be putting your hands on your stepson in that manner. And then on top of all of that, dry snitching to the NCAA to get the like, first of all, you need to understand.
You breaking all the codes, bruh.
Bruh, every code.
All the codes.
Code. And I know what it is to be a grown man, having pride, having your own shit. But yo, if my son ever makes it, I'm not gonna expect for him to buy me anything. But me being his dad, whatever, if I'm a good dad, I feel like he's gonna take care of me. I'm not gonna expect for him to do that, but I know that my son, if I did a good job, he's gonna buy me some. He's gonna do something because
he'll take care of you.
I was a great father. I'm not gonna dry snitch on my son to the NCAA.
Motherfucker!
Wow. Ken just lost.
Ken sounded like the oldest man on earth just a minute ago. Oh my God.
Hey, where did Ken go?
Where Drake at?
That's crazy. That is nuts,
where
dude.
Where did Ken go?
Bow!
He went to go get on the phone with D Wade, telling him what he got to do to
that counts too, boy. That definitely counts because he released that way before. Dang.
Yeah, we're for those of you watching, we're watching the game live.
Yeah.
Dang,
hey, look,
son.
Overtime.
Ken, you all right, Ken?
Did you call D Wade? You let him know what he got to do for overtime.
I don't understand how teams cannot inbound the ball.
Wow.
I just don't understand it.
Go ahead, Ken. The
Whiteside punk ass can't even hit a free throw. Unfucking believable, man. And the lack of execution down the stretch. Grabbing rebounds.
I take you room for Miami, Ken.
They grabbed the dog. Like, they literally grabbed the rebound. Josh Richardson grabbed the rebound and tried to throw it to somebody. He threw it out of bounds. Like, he screwed up twice in this quarter, making ill-advised, boneheaded plays.
If they lose this game, they might lose this series. You know how certain games would be like, oh man, it just messed up the whole.
Right.
Yes.
This could be that game. This could be the game that shots Miami's confidence, and they can lose this series.
So for those of you watching and maybe if you're watching this after this broadcast, and you're not watching it live, the Raptors just tied the game, and that's why Kim went crazy. And the game is headed to overtime. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, Tunsel. Wow. But yeah, it's so I agree with you, Feefo. I mean, like, his dad. Now, what they're doing now, they've launched an investigation to try to find out who hacked it. They think that it may be a former financial advisor. I would not be surprised if his dad had something to do with it. Or stepdad, excuse me. And I can't imagine how awkward it is for his mom, because here it is, she's married to this man, but her son is, he's the man now. He's able to retire his mother if he so chooses. And again, this guy is the best left tackle. If you know football, left tackles are the guys that protect your franchise quarterback. Not saying that the Dolphins have a franchise quarterback, but if they did, he's the guy to protect your franchise quarterback for the next 10, 15 years.
Why are you letting him dribble up the court?
Ken is still losing it.
And then they called a BS foul on Richardson. It wasn't even a foul. That's the crap I'm talking about. Let them play, man. They're going after the ball. Why would you call a freaking foul? It's playoffs. God. Dumbass shit.
Oh, you people coming in because they was leaving. That's funny.
Yeah, this is why we need to watch these games together. Oh man, that's funny. So you are watching Dead End Sports. I'm your host, 12 Kyle, joined by my partners, Beezy, Kinge, and Feefo. We got you locked and loaded. This is the place where sports opinions collide. While we're in the NBA, while we're in NFL, let's jump back to the NBA real quick, man. Before we get out of here, the Clippers, man, another quick exit by the Clippers. Doc Rivers, who is the coach as well as the GM, says that he would like to bring their core back, and he doesn't see that he's going to move anybody. Some people think that they should make a move. B, if you're Doc, what do you do with that team?
Yeah, I think even though they playoffs got cut short due to your two best players getting injured, but I think it's time to break up that big three. If you can get something for Blake Griffin, like a piece or two. Like, I mean, I ain't talking about like a bench guy come up. I'm talking about like another, bring in another superstar or something for Blake Griffin. Bring him on. I don't know. I think it's the Clippers curse has ran out. CP3, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin. I think you have to. Like I said, if you could try to get something good for Blake, another superstar, and maybe a draft pick or something like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you can get. I have to look at how everything is laid out coming this season. But yeah, man, I think it's probably time to break that up. With that same squad, I don't see them. I can see them being another second round exit next year with that same squad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, you know what? It depends on what happens at OKC and all that stuff, because they might not be one of the top, 3 or 4 head hogs in the West, to come in this offseason. You never know. If that core stay together, maybe the only team they have to worry about or teams is Golden State or Spurs. But other than that, yeah, I think you probably gotta. Because how many years they ain't played together? What, 4 seasons now? 4 or 5?
It's been about 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Blake Griffin's not the right guy. Maybe you could have to probably bring in another big time. Maybe DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Jordan, they're the same position. I don't know, man. It's yeah. I think it's probably time to break that up though.
Wow. That's crazy. Feefo, what about you, man? You're looking at this team. They've been together for a few years. They had the whole Donald Sterling thing. Of course, injuries abound. CP3 went down, and then Blake went down. And you just knew. I mean, the deck was stacked against them. It was going to be tough either way, because they would be facing, but they would have been facing possibly a hobbled Steph Curry. If you're Doc and you're the GM and the head coach, what do you do with this team?
I think Doc's right in saying that he wants to bring the core back. The only way you break up the core depends on if you're able to add what that roster needs. And every year, Doc is one of the better basketball minds in the NBA. He knows what his team's weaknesses are, and he's tried to address them in every subsequent offseason, except they can't get the type of level or production that they need from another wing player. Because what that team needs is another playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Another guy that can create for himself and create for others outside of CP. Now, Blake can do that, but because you're a 4, right, and in the way that they're constructed, he's not Draymond. He's not going to be pick and roll, top of the key. No, he'll give you a little bit of that, but he's not that continuous playmaker. They need another wing guy, preferably the 3, which is the reason why they went on and got Wesley Johnson. What's his name? Jeff Green. Doc is trying to fortify this roster. So what B said, partly I agree. It depends on what they're able to accomplish this
season. You're right.
Because if KD decides to bounce and the Clippers are a viable option, oh, yeah, I'm bringing back the core with KD. That makes perfect sense. But in this offseason, based off of the free agents, if you're not able to get that wing guy, then you got to start shopping. You got to start shopping. You got to go holler at Danny Ainge with them picks. You you need to look at every option available, and it might be time to hit the reset button. But they are not far away. I'm telling you, they're one piece away. If they can get a legitimate three, a legitimate wing guy to pair outside of CP, JJ Redick, and give me that third guy out there on that perimeter, they're a championship contender. But without that, it's tough for their big three to be great because DeAndre affects the game offensively and defensively, but without the rock offensively. It's the pick and roll and the dive to the basket. You have to converge on that. He affects you there, but he can't just go get you a bucket. Only CP and Blake can do that, and Jamal Crawford. But they need another dynamic wing player for them to be a viable championship contender. I don't know how Doc is going to do it. I don't know if he's going to do it via trade. I don't know if he's going to try to do it solely via free agency. I know financially they don't have the most wiggle room because you got three guys making $100 million. So it's going to be tough, but it's definitely doable. I say let's revisit, these questions a little bit more in the summertime. When we get a more clearer picture for the free agents and what they're thinking, and even after Olympic basketball, because that's this year as well.
No doubt, no doubt. What about you? Can you calm down enough to answer the question?
Nah, not really, because I don't know why the hell they keep giving the ball to Joe Johnson when they should just give it to damn Dwayne Wade. This motherfucker done shot like two air balls already.
Hey, I'm reading a stat. It says Kyle Lowry had been 7 for 48 from the three-point in the playoffs before that miracle shot went down. 7 for 48. Wow. But go ahead, Kim.
Anyway, I think they should keep them. I agree with Feefo. I think they're one piece away. But let me ask you this, Feefo. When you say one piece away, is that with or without Jamal Crawford?
It doesn't matter. You could replace a Jamal Crawford. You can replace bench production like that. That's not that difficult to find. Now trying to find it out of one person may be difficult. You might have to get two guys, but that's easy. The core that you need is 4 people. That's the core: CP, JJ, Blake, and DeAndre. What they're missing is that 3-man. They need a 3-man.
In the starting rotation.
Huh?
In the starting rotation?
Yes. Somebody like I'm gonna give you somebody that I think fits perfect. He isn't like a superstar, but he's not a scrub. At his best, he was all-star, borderline superstar. Rudy Gay. That's what they need.
Yeah.
They need a versatile 3-man that can play 3 and 4, guard the 2, switch pick and rolls, can create his own shot, create for others, finish, score from outside, score from mid-range. Jeff Green, just with more consistency, better mentality, more consistency. But that's it. That's it. They're right there. They're right there. And obviously health, but that's something, comes and goes.
I think, I don't disagree with you. I think Crawford has to go. I think he's too erratic. He gets cold at the wrong times. I think if they could trade him out for a couple of other pieces, like you said, if they could get that production from 2 or 3 different pieces, I think that'll be good. Because I think they just need a bench. They just need a bench that works for them. And even if they do get that 3 guy, they still need somebody to come in and be productive off the bench. When I look at them play, that's what I think they're missing. And they're missing that tough guy. They're missing that heart and soul guy, a guy that has a lot of grit to him. Right now they're a little too pretty, man. And they need to kind of rough things up a little bit. And
no, I definitely agree. I think I think what player I think fits perfect for the Clippers? Exactly what you're talking about, what they need? Joakim Noah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what they.
Yep.
They need that. They need a perimeter guy. The bench came along as the season progressed. Like Austin Rivers went back to being the all-star player off of the bench type of guy in the playoffs. What's his name? Jamal Crawford's Jamal Crawford. Jeff Green came off the bench. So eventually they got a bench because it was complete. That bench was completely different from the beginning of the season. with the Lance Stevenson and Josh Smith bench. Like, Doc, look, man, Doc is on top of his stuff. It's getting the right guy. It's not like he hasn't tried. He's been trying.
Yeah, he has. He has.
No doubt. I think
give it to Wade, man.
I don't know, man.
Why did you give it to Joe Johnson? Give it to Wade. Why mess around?
Ken is playing. I think I would like to see him bring him back. I think it's going to be, it's going to be up to Doc whether or not he does, because as I mentioned, he's the coach and the GM. But I'd like, because I think that we still haven't seen them at full strength. If we see them at full strength, then we'll know what it is that they're capable of. And in the West, I don't think, really where they are, I don't know that you necessarily want to take 2 or 3 steps back, because you're not going to take, more steps forward, at least not right now, unless somebody comes to you with a sweet deal for Blake Griffin. I think you got to stand pat. Bring everybody back, everybody that you can bring back. The injury bug hit him at the wrong time during the playoffs, and if who knows what we would be saying if we were looking at a healthy Clippers team versus Steph Curry-less Warriors team. So, so it might be a little bit, our narrative might be a little bit different.
Steph would have been playing.
Well, that too. So he would have been hobbling, but he would have played. So I'd like to see him bring him back, because it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, because as I mentioned, Doc is the GM. He has to make that decision, but then he also has to be able to bring in players he can coach and that fit into his system. So we'll see. Free agency will be hot and heavy. Of course, we'll be on top of it, as well as off the bench. So make sure that if you haven't done so already, subscribe to their podcast as well. Boxing news. B, your boy, Money Team, Floyd Money Mayweather says that there's been talk about 9 figures being thrown his way. 9, N-I-N-E, count them. 9 figures thrown his way for a possible return. Beezy, do you want to see Money Mayweather come back for his 50th victory?
Yeah. I mean, I saw it coming. I knew he wasn't gonna stay away. I knew it when he was so-called retired, went 49-0. Just the fact that the lackluster fight against Andre Berto, which we all knew he was gonna win, I was like, he's not gonna end his career that way. I definitely see him, coming back for to go for the unprecedented retired 50-0. No one's ever done it. And I also said, if it was for the right money, if someone was gonna pay him a boatload of money, which we seen that's the case, and it's amazing how everyone always say he's such a boring fighter. Mayweather, he's killing boxing, but look at all the money he's generating in the sport of boxing. It's like if he's such a boring fighter and an uninteresting fighter, how come these networks and these companies are willing to pay top dollars for him to fight one more time? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. I mean, I know because they're gonna make money too, but still, people say Mayweather this, Mayweather that, but what he's doing for boxing. Look what the numbers he put up compared to the Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley numbers. Those numbers was horrible. Those pay-per-view numbers was awful. And and Manny Pacquiao was a pretty popular fighter, but I saw this coming, man. Like I knew he wasn't gonna stay away. I'm pretty sure people in this camp was talking like, yo, man, you go for 50-0. You go down as, like the greatest fighter, the only fighter ever to retire 50-0. Because, that was supposed to be Mike Tyson's record. He was supposed to go 50-0 and, go undefeated or whatever in his career. But, Mike Tyson didn't have that mental focus like Mayweather does. But, yeah, I saw it coming. It wasn't shocking. I was like, if he comes back, a network is going to pay him a boatload of money. And then when I saw 9 figures, I was like, yep, he's going to come back. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back and he's gonna fight Danny Garcia. That's the only fighter he's pretty much kind of zoomed in on focus on fighting is Danny Garcia.
And that's not gonna be a good fight.
It's gonna be like Berto. He gonna clean house, teach him a thing or two, and that's it. He gonna win 9 or 10 rounds out of 12. typical Mayweather fashion.
No doubt. What about you, Ken? Are you interested in seeing another Mayweather fight if he decides to return?
Absolutely not. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I'm good on that, man. I'm good. I don't need to see another Mayweather. I don't want to see Mayweather run for 12 rounds. I just don't. Feefo, what about you, man?
You don't run?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Oh, man, look, man,
Mayweather does not run.
I want to see him again. I definitely want to see him again because I think he's one of the greatest fighters to ever box. So, the more you can see him, the better. I knew he wasn't going to be I knew that retirement was going to be short-lived, bro. Because, like B said, just the record. When you're that ultra competitive, when you want to be that great, and we know as much shit as Floyd talks, we know he wants to be great. He wants to be considered the best. There is no way you do not go for the record 15-0. That's number one. Number two, there's no way you walk away from that money because even if you lose, that money is nice.
Right.
Nice constellation.
And look, that's not even including endorsements and stuff that he's gonna bring in too. Damn.
So man, look, I definitely see him coming back at least for one more fight. I don't think he's gonna come back and do 5-6 fights like that, like Roy Jones, way over the hill.
Cause he's 39. He's 39. So
yeah, I don't see Floyd doing that, but I definitely see Floyd coming back for at least this one last fight.
Okay. Well, we'll see, man. Like I said, they're talking about right now. He said he's spoken with CBS and Showtime, and he's thrown out 9 figures. So 9 figures is enough to make just about anybody.
He threw that out. I think he was like, look, y'all, if y'all want me to fight, this how much money I come back and fight for. Bam.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure Showtime and CBS well, sure, because they look at all the money we gonna get in the back end too. So I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they'd be willing to pay on that kind of bread. I'm pretty sure they will. And I think he's gonna fight Danny Garcia. I think that's that's a no-brainer. I think that's a no-brainer. I think he's gonna fight Danny Garcia because he's undefeated.
Okay.
He got his belt. He got the same belt that Mayweather vacated when he retired. So. Mayweather gonna fight, get that belt.
Is that a good draw for him?
Danny Garcia?
It's gonna be too easy.
It's gonna be too easy.
It's too easy. Me and B already talked about it because we both knew Mayweather was gonna come back. So we've already talked about what were the potential fights, what would be a good fight, and we talked about Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is a brawler. You know what I'm saying? And he don't have enough power. He's not going to knock out Mayweather. He's not quick enough to consistently hit Mayweather.
Right.
And Mayweather just going to tag him and move. Danny Garcia's face is going to be jacked up. Mayweather's going to be smiling at him because Danny is only going to hit him with maybe 5 power shots all fight. It's going to be.
He going to land 12% of his punches.
Huh?
He going to land 12% of his punches.
Yep. Because Danny Garcia
I think he'd run. I don't want to see him. I wouldn't go see Mayweather fight if he was fighting in my backyard, man. I'm done. I'm good on Mayweather.
Hit the exit button on Kyle for me.
Man, that's funny.
Oh man. Before we get out of here, real quick, baseball talk, man. Major League Baseball last week suspended your man Dee Gordon from the Miami Marlins. 80 games, PEDs, according to, and if you watch baseball, Dee Gordon is one of the best players in the game, perennial all-star. Tested positive for PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs, extra testosterone, and clotestibol. That's what Major League Baseball said. I don't know what the hell clotestibol is. Nonetheless, man, Ken, what do you think about this, man? 80 games for a guy like Dee Gordon, man, that's huge.
Man, that was a lot of games, man, and I was shocked. First of all, I was shocked by the person, like Dee Gordon. Right. I mean, he's a contact hitter, and his thing is speed. He had over 50 stolen bases last year.
Yep.
and that was pretty much his thing. So why in the hell are you taking, drugs to swing for the fences? It didn't make any sense. So he said he unknowingly took it. I guess maybe, I don't know. When you look at Dee Gordon, you would like to believe that he wouldn't try to take drugs or PEDs to increase his power or whatever. But it was shocking, man, and it kind of sad to see because he was one of the guys that people liked in Major League Baseball. But but I think the thing that's the timing of it is just poor because who's their hitting coach?
That would be Barry Bonds.
Yep.
What do you? Come on, Barry. Come on, man.
Man.
Barry home. They need to test everybody.
That's not a good look.
It's not a good look at all. But yeah, man, that's
not a good look when your second best player on the team, arguably your second best player on the team, behind Giancarlo Stanton, is busted for 80 games for PEDs, and your hitting coach in his first year as hitting coach won Mr. Barry Bonds. That's funny in and of itself. I mean, like, you can't write those jokes for real.
Not at all.
And then what's also interesting is that we've talked about it before, just from a historical perspective, as far as like decline of black baseball players. Dee Gordon is one of the best. Yeah, Freudian slip right there. Dee Gordon is one of the best black baseball players in the game, period. And there's not, the number of black baseball players have declined over the years. But yeah, he's a major ambassador, does a lot of great work in the Miami community. Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, man. I did not see that one coming. Meanwhile, quick score update. This Miami game is still going on. It's almost over overtime.
Is it Toronto ball?
And looks like the Warriors are down early, man. They're off to a slow start. They're down 10 early. That's early.
That's 3-3.
It's gonna be a heart attack, man. The way he was already cursing him out, and now this, he's gonna have a heart attack.
Man, we need to go ahead and wrap up this show before Ken have a heart attack for real.
Toronto ball. Yo, they can't lose this game, man.
Yeah,
but
we might as well go ahead.
Whoa.
We might as well go ahead and throw it to our parting shots. Feefo, you got any parting shots, man?
I do. And it's for the Mr. Kyle Lowry. Mr. Kyle Lowry. Hey, start packing your bags, homie. And not just because you want to go fishing. Because your ass gonna be out the NBA. You're gonna have to go to China or something. You keep playing like this in the playoffs, bro. I'm just keeping it real with you. You gotta step up. You gotta string at least 2 or 3 good games because that's the only way you're gonna save your career.
No doubt. What about you, B? Any parting shots?
I just kind of wish that the playoff. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen, but I wish the first round would go back to 3 out of 5.
Oh man.
Kind of, of course for money purposes, of course, but like, I think I know back sometimes now in the current years, I'm not really interested in watching the first round of playoffs. Like for me, the playoffs don't get going into the second round, and when the first round was 3 out of 5, you kind of, especially if that higher seed loses the first game, it really makes it serious interesting. Like say if a 2 seed or a 1 seed lose that first game, the pressure's on them, So and I used to like that about the first round in the NBA playoffs when it was the best 3 out of 5. So I mean, if anything, watch these playoffs. I do wish that they would go back to that, which I know they won't. But Adam Silver, if you're listening, man, just consider it. You consider another weirder things in the NBA, so consider that. Consider bringing that back. That's my parting shot.
Give me these.
Dunk it, Wade. Dunk it.
Give me these.
Ah, there we go, baby.
That's that old man.
Hey, there we go, baby. There we go.
Leg.
That's my parting shot.
Oh, man. Ken, any part, it looks like Miami's going to win this game. I hope.
Go, man.
For Ken's
go.
Any part Any parting shots, Ken?
Hey, look, Dwayne Wade is showing you right now that he still has it. The old man still has it. If you missed, what was it, Friday, when he hit the 2 threes, the block shot, come on, the tough fadeaway jump shot. The man still got it, man. Not making the playoffs last year did wonders for him, and he was big down the stretch in this game too. A lot of team late game execution here or there. Hopefully they'll learn from it because the playoffs get tougher, and a lot of these guys probably haven't really, well, maybe Joe Johnson, but it's a learning experience. But Dwayne Wade still got it. Respect that man.
Put some respect on my name.
Still would only have one championship if it wasn't for LeBron, though.
Oh my God, we're not doing this.
My partner shot is simple, man. Got to take it to the City of Angels. Not the basketball team, the Lakers, but the Clippers, actually. Got to give a big shout out, man, to Austin Rivers, man. You guys saw Austin Rivers take a vicious elbow to the eye, and he got 11 stitches, came back, and I mean, he looked like he was like Mike Tyson, lit him up a couple times. And I'm gonna be honest, I've been very critical of his game. I thought, that he was just, the coach's son, and not necessarily favoritism, because he can play. He's worth being in the NBA, but he showed a lot of heart, man. And I think he played in a game, and he laid it on the line, and he was out there balling, and he could only see out of one eye, man. So I think that's something you gotta. I tip my cap to him, man. Great effort. It was in a losing effort, but I think if nothing else, he earned a lot of respect from a lot of people because he could have easily folded it in and said, you know what, I'm not going back out there. But, I give him props for doing that, man, and you don't see that every day. That's when I see stuff like that, it makes me think like throwbacks because guys like that back in the day, they play through anything. And I think Austin Rivers should be commended for what he did. And that is it for today. Looks like the game is concluded. If you guys want to jump over, make sure that you check out. If you missed any parts of tonight's live stream, make sure that you go back and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here, youtube.com/deadendsports. That's going to do it for us for this week. So for Ken, for B, for Feefo, I'm your host, Kyle. We'll holler at you next week. Peace.
Peace.